Yo, welcome to Nightreign. So bit of a fun story is that I have recently become obsessed with Elden Ring. Shortly before Nightreign released, I played through and completed base Elden Ring and the DLC. When Nightreign first came out, I was like, yes, this is my kind of thing. I just want like a sort of boss rush mode. And that's kind of what Nightreign feels for me, is like this never-ending hunger for hard fights. Anyway, if you're a regular viewer of mine, you might be wondering, where the fuck is the Final Fantasy? Sorry, I ran out of content. No, I just think like the current things happening in Final Fantasy are just not interesting enough to put in a video. So I feel like Occult Crescent is kind of the same thing. Cosmic exploration is just crafting. I don't know who wants to watch someone else craft for however many minutes, but you know, there really isn't too much going on in the world of Final Fantasy, which is kind of a shame. Anyway, we're playing Elden Ring because I'm currently obsessed. What we're going to be doing in Nightreign is soloing the final boss, the Night Aspect Healster, with every single character. This is something I've done before. I've done it as a win streak before. It feels like an interesting experience when a lot of people have this viewpoint of these characters in three-person co-op, but they haven't really seen, you know, how someone else plays those characters solo. We're gonna just go down the list of Nightfarers. What I'll do is kind of explain my like overworld, my expedition prior to, you know, just showing the full fight versus Healster. But yeah, first up on the list is Wilder. So starting off with Wilder, this is the, in my opinion, the solo character. I mean, you get a free res every night anyway, but like this guy's passive gives you a sort of revive or like a free death hit every time you touch a grace. So I see on the map that there isn't anything holy, which is what Healster is weak to. So that kind of like sends off alarms for me, but we're just gonna, you know, try to aim for Storm Sword keys and, you know, just kind of do our normal routing of let's kind of, you know, do easier stuff and then, you know, snowball into like castle and greater enemies towards day 2. So I started at the Guardian Golem Fort and I actually forgot the Storm Sword key, so that's great. But it's fine because I picked up one on the camp that I first dropped off at. So I opened my first jail. It was Bloodhound Night, so it wasn't too bad. I picked up his money. Before the circle fully closed, I grabbed a flask charge that was gonna be in the storm, and then some fucking bullshit happened. So going quickly, I just finished the Augur raid. It doesn't benefit me greatly. I just did Flame Chariots after because I was kind of close by and that's like so fast. And I went and killed Leonin Is it Leonin or Leonine? Whatever. I killed Leonin Misbegotten before the last circle. I grabbed another flask charge before the storm closed, and I got finger crawlers as my night 1 ads, so that told me that Centipede Demon was my night boss. I didn't get any nice perks, so I just kind of grabbed Blood Loss at low HP. I went straight to another Everjail, and I got Stone Skin Lords, which, you know, pretty nice. They got rolled, and I took money. Then I went to the Ulcerated Tree Spirit Great Enemy, and I just picked up the Onyx Lord's Great Sword. I need something, man. Unfortunately, it's a curved Great Sword, so I then went to the top of the castle. I saw Magma Worm, which is pretty good, and very luckily, he dropped an Envoy's Longhorn. So that was my go-to weapon for Healster, unless I got something cool like 2 really nice great swords. Then I went to the bottom and saw Ancient Hero of Zamor, which is also pretty good, so nothing really annoying here. He dropped a Sword of Milos, which was pretty good. If I wanted to keep using a great sword, then, you know, I'd have it, but I have the Envoy's Longhorn, so, you know, I'm good. I picked up a Millicent's Prosthesis from the Talisman chest, so that was very nice. I farmed around the castle for some extra runes because it was Spanish Nights, so here we go, montage. After I cleaned out the front of the castle, I kind of just went to another great enemy, which was the Flying Dragon, and it behaved pretty well, so it wasn't very annoying. He ended up dropping the Mirai Executioner's sword, so I was like, oh shit. and he ended up giving me also level 15 right after. So I had a decent chunk of time and runes left over. Unfortunately for the Night 2 ads, I got the Dragon and the Beastman of Harem Azula, so my Night boss was Nameless King. Fun fact, Elden Ring is my only Soulsborne experience. So all these, bosses from Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, kind of fucking rule me sometimes. So fortunately, I was John Nightreign, so it wasn't terrible. He ended up dropping increased flask restoration, which is always nice in my opinion. At the end merchant, I decided to grab another Running Grace, and you'll see this is kind of a trend for the other characters too. I grabbed some health flasks and, well, I head straight into the boss. Next up was the Guardian. Pretty not great for solo. So he kind of sucks for solo just because of his whole kit being pretty catered to, taking hits and reviving. So the first jail I opened was a Crucible Knight, so I got the fuck out. Just kidding, I went to a nearby camp to get enough runes to level, and then I came back for the Crucible Knight. After killing him and taking his money, I got a flask charge and went straight towards a Fire Cathedral for Stone Sword keys. It didn't have any, so I let my anger out on the Fire Monk down below. Then I do this Madness camp and then head to the mines for Smithing 2. I see a Leonine Misbegotten right as the final circle is shown, so I decided to whack him. Fortunately, he did drop two pretty good weapons, Siluria's Tree and a Golden Halberd. It was a pretty tough choice since they both had Holy on them, but I chose the Golden Halberd because it has Sacred Blade. And I'd rather use Sacred Blade than Siluria's Woe or whatever it's called. On the way to the Night 1 boss, I found an Ancient Hero of Zamor, so I decided to whack him a tiny bit so he'll have less health for later. My Night 1 ads were Golden Order Knights, which meant it was Valiant Gargoyle for my Night boss. He's a little annoying, but overall not so bad. I didn't really like any of the perks he dropped, so I just grabbed guard counters. After that, I went to finish off the Ancient Hero. He dropped giga shit stuff, so I just grabbed whatever and left. I decided to check the lower castle level, and there was a Black Knife Assassin, so it was basically free. Funnily enough, she also dropped a Golden Halberd, so I guess I am jumping L1. I find the Green Turtle Talisman in the Talisman chest, so I was pretty happy with that. Luckily, I had Banished Knight's Castle again, so I just farmed runes here. I checked who's on top, and it's my favorite Elden Ring boss, the Tree Sentinel. and then he kicked my head in. Because Guardian's bitch-ass dodge just makes it very hard to dodge. So that like one shield bash move into the ground feels kind of bullshit. So I decided to run away like a pussy, and since the circle's starting to close and we're pretty far away, I rush Demi-Human Queen since she's pretty easy. I see stance breaking, I take. My Knight 2 ads are those who live in death, which meant I had Deathrite Bird as my Knight 2 boss, which was amazing for me because not only did I have 2 holy weapons, I had one with Sacred Blade, so I got more holy damage overall. He gets rolled. I get the most OP perk in the game currently, Periodical Giant Clip Blades, which pairs pretty nicely with the earlier stance breaking and the amount of jump attacks I will be doing, so we're set. I grab the usual safety wending and go straight to the boss. Next up on the chopping block is Iron Eye, in my opinion the most broken character right now. Mostly due to his skill having so many iframes and his remembrance relics being particularly powerful versus Holster. I find some holy runes to maybe find another holy bow, and nope, I just grab more runes. I go to a fork to maybe get a stone sword key. Nope, fuck me. I found a dead ass body that I had the winged sword insignia, so that was pretty nice for me. I generally hate Banished Knight's camp, but I decided to do it because Iron Eye is busted. They didn't drop anything super nice in particular, so I just grabbed more stance breaking. I headshot the troll in the mines for this smithing too. I go for the Knight's Cavalry field boss since he's pretty easy even at this lower level. And I just get more runes, fuck me. I drop down to the Holy Cathedral, grab a stone sword key. The Trumpet Boys actually did drop a holy bow, so now I have bows in both hands so I can swap between the two seamlessly. I open the closest jail just to spawn them in and see who it is. Luckily I get Stone Skin Lords so I can finish them off quickly. I grab the money, I level up. It seemed like Exile Knights with a little hoodie Banished Knight, so that told me that the Night boss was gonna be Godric or the Grafted Monarch. There wasn't anything too great, so I just took the enhanced damage after crits. After that, I went to a nearby great enemy, which was the Erdtree Avatar, so it was fine. He can be a little annoying, but not too hard. And I got fucking garbage. Alright, I grab a flask charge, I check the lower level of the castle, and it's Red Wolf. I kinda hate fighting him because he keeps jumping around and shit, but I should be fine with Iron Eye. The drops are kinda meh, so I just picked the bow. The talisman chest did have the Dragon Crest shield talisman, which is pretty nice overall damage mitigation, but I felt comfortable with my current one, so I left it behind. Unfortunately, I had Troll Castle, so I just left in favor of the circle. I ran into Bellbearing Hunter, which I felt pretty good as Iron Eye. Then I fucking Libra eat my health, and I just rolled bad. I finished him off, grabbed improved dodging, went to Libra to lift the curse, then grabbed an enhanced armament, which was Odorvis's greatsword, which is not bad for his healster. I started hitting the great enemy up north, which is a Royal Revenant, but the circle was closing faster than I thought. So I decided to check the other great enemy closer to the circle. It was a Magma-Worm, so that's nice. I did manage to kill him quickly, but I didn't really have enough time to inspect the other weapons closer, so I just picked the perk and ran. Unfortunately, it was guard counter, so it was useless. And I get Godskin Duo as my Night 2 boss because my ads were Black Flame Monks. Fucking fantastic. Luckily, I was Iron Eye and I'm busted, so it was relatively okay, and I get to win the game with giant clip leads. As per usual, I grab a Safety Wending and a Crimson Burst Flask, and then I head straight to the boss. Oh. Next one up is one of my favorites, the Duchess. Oh hey, I actually showed my relics as I started the run this time. I finished the beginning camp and head straight to a fort. I tried to keep backstabbing the captain, but I just dodged straight into a blunder instead, so I died. Alright, so take two. I try again and oops, that's a 16 fucking wheeler appearing out of nowhere. I lose all my runes from before, which is not terrible in the long run, but just for starting out, it feels so bad. Right. Take three. Let's not talk about take three. I get my revenge on the world's strongest captain, and he didn't drop any good shit, so fuck me, I guess. I do a quick rise on the way just to check for more stabs. whatever. And I end up just grabbing more health, so more health, more gooder. I get a peek at the castle, and it's troll castle again, so that super fucking blows. I get bombed, and I see a scorpion charm, so it's not worth it. I open a jail and get Noxio, which is fine and easy. They drop increased flask restoration, so I grab it. Then I grab a smithing tooth for later. I open another jail, and it's Siluria Crucible Knight. She pokes my ass, but it's fine since we pick up her fat ass wallet instead. I found a dead body and another Stone Sword key from a chest. The dead guy had a bunch of good shit like another key and a whole ass wending grace. I grab a flash charge in the rain and haul ass to the circle. I open a jail so that they'll spawn with less health for day 2. And I get banished knights for that jail, so I ain't fucking with that yet. I whack the nearby ancient hero Zemmer, and while they are super low, I flee because it's too risky to finish them off. And I have like no mana and low flasks left. Then I see I got Smelter Demon from my Night 1 boss, which is, you know, pretty easy normally, but my low flasks make it a little tighter. I nearly make it, and all the drops are kinda ass, so I just picked improved dodging to make Duchess's dodges even more insane. I bomb rush towards the ancient hero to finish them off, and I forgot to heal, so that's cool. They didn't drop anything amazing, so I just grabbed poise for fun. I rush back to the banished knights. I die again because the game said fuck you and didn't give me the backstab. I finish the last dude off and grab his wallet. I do the nearby rise and grab a nicer staff with night comment on it, so we're pretty chillin' with magic for now. I go to the next open jail and get Bloodhound Knight, so he's pretty easy. I smack him, I take his wallet. The circle starts to close, so I grab a flask charge on the way. Then I check the lower level of the castle, and it's Leonin Misbegotten, so that's nice and easy. He had Giga shit, so fuck me, I guess. The talisman chest wasn't super great either. He had Giga shit, so fuck me, I guess. I go topside, and there's an ulcerated tree spirit, so that was pretty nice and easy. And he also had very shit drops, so fucking whatever. At this point, I'm thinking I have to do Healster with my starting Duchess's dagger, which I mean has frost on it. I'll go towards a nearby great enemy in its Royal Revenant, which can be a little annoying sometimes. Unfortunately, I do get stuck inside a blender. He also has fucking garbage, so more affinity attack power, I guess. I go towards another great enemy, which is the Ancestral Spirit. Why did I read that as Ancestral Toilet? He's not hard, but he can stall for a bit, which is funny because now the circle's starting to close. I finish him quickly because Gelmir's Fury is alright. And finally, I have some really nice choices here between the Cincadella, Carrion Regal Scepter, and another Wending Grace, but ultimately I pick up the Scepter and I head straight to the circle since I was on my ass when I finished the Ancestral Spirit. Funnily enough, the Carrion Regal Scepter also had Meteorite, and just fucking watch this. Okay. Fucking amazing. I wash the Magma Worm and get more health. I grab a safety wending and a Crimson Bubble Tear, and then I head into the boss room. Next up is Raider, which is one of my least played, but not for a lack of fun or gameplay reason, but because I think he's a little too brain off sometimes. So regardless, big weapon do big trick. So that's our game plan. And we have for first and only shifting earth of this Heelster rush, but it's unfortunately the mountaintops, which is in my opinion the weakest of the bunch. And it's pretty useless when it comes to Heelster himself anyway. I grabbed level 2, I opened my first jail, and it was Godskin Apostle, and I got put into a blender. I ran back to his bitch ass, and he stabbed me like an asshole, so I finish him off and steal his wallet. I run across the entire world for a flask charge, but something unexpected dropped. Oh my god. That's crazy. I slap a foot on the way to the castle. I check the lower level of the castle for later, and it's fine. And I head straight to the secret room for the court's end. Open sesame. Wow. Awesome. One for each of me. I got you some lightning runes since I still lack a good weapon for Heelster, and I didn't get shit. Cool. I go to a nearby cathedral for its key and hopefully a better weapon, and I get an anchor. Then I head to a jail and find Stone Skin Lords, so it's not bad. I take their money even though physical attack up is pretty enticing. I grab a flask charge on the way to the final Night 1 circle. I also open a nearby jail and his Grave Warden Duelist, which is probably the easiest jail boss, so I boss it quickly. I got Banished Knights and it's the one with the 2 swords, so that meant I was gonna get Battlefield Commander. Normally this would be super annoying, but since I'm Raider, it's pretty nice and easy. I got some pretty garbage drops, so holy ground for me. I got to another lightning runes and I grab a lightning great axe. I grab another stone sword key from a fort and I grab more stamina from a golden hippo. Then I grab a quick smithing 2. I go to the nearby jail and I grab more health. Afterwards, I kill the ancestor spirit on top of the castle and grab the envoy's great horn, which is massive versus Heelster. Then I deal with the ancient hero Zamor at the lower level of the castle. And I just grab criticals, restore FP, since the other weapons weren't as great as the envoy's great horn. I head to the mountaintops and whack the flying dragon first, and the guy drops the damn Dark Moon Greatsword, which I obviously pick up, but probably won't use against Heelster, at least like phase 2, sadly. I pick a fight with the nearby snowfield trolls, but they keep stalling me, so I just went into the circle where my Night 2 boss was gonna be Magma Worm, and there's periodical giant clip blades, GG's. I use my runes to level up, and I'm too poor for anything else, so I just head into the boss room. Let's do this. And that does a lot of fucking damage, actually. Up next is my personal favorite character and main, Revenant. In my honest opinion, I do think she is the most underpowered of the whole cast. I think her summons are nigh useless by the end of Night 2, as well as their AI not being the greatest, so really she kinda has middling damage and no good windows for her incantations based off her health and dodge roll, since at least Recluse has the highest dodge roll iframes and a way to regain FP, and Duchess has multiple dodges and a great dex stat, and Revenant doesn't really have any of theirs. But she is my most played, so we will game. I grab a seal and a key from a cathedral after getting level 2. Inside my first jail was Siluria Crucible Knight, so I get flashbacks of getting poked earlier. I do get smashed in and die, but I cleaned them up after and grabbed their wallet. I was hoping to get a good holy melee weapon from the Holy Ruins, but no, the best I got was max stamina up. I opened my next jail and it was damn Crystallians. I didn't really have any great strike weapons, but the flail I picked up from the Holy Ruins actually did pretty well against them. I take their money and leave. There's a nearby fort with Abductive Virgin, so it's free money and it's a Stone Sword key check. I grab a Wending and a small pouch. I saw Envoy's Horn in the merchant's shop, so that will likely be my main weapon versus Yolster if I don't find anything else. And in addition to that, it had multiple glint blades as its passive, so it's overall a pretty nice choice. Before the Night 1 circle closes for the final time, I pick up another Stone Sword key from a cathedral on the way. I was also able to whack the Ancient Hero Zamor near the final circle in time, so I was pretty prepared for Night 1's boss at level 8. Annoyingly, I got Duke's Dear Freya as my Night 1 boss, but it isn't exactly hard as it is annoying, but with Revenant Summon it makes the fight a bit easier. I grab criticals to restore health and head straight to the lower level of the castle. And unfortunately, Bell-bearing Hunter is there, and I'm not about to deal with that as a Revenant, so we'll check topside. And it's Black Blade Kindred, another very annoying boss, so fuck me, I'm not doing castle this run. I head for a jail instead and get Nox Duo. After taking their money, I use it to buy the Envoy's Horn from the merchant. Then I whacked the Erdtree avatar I saw on my way to the merchant, and it ended up dropping a pretty meh Erdtree seal. The Night 2 circle starts to close as I open another jail, and it's Beastmen of Farm Missoula, which is pretty annoying to deal with. And 3 of them with the cleavers just decided to eat my ass that day. They take an annoyingly long amount of time, enough for the storm to catch up to us, but I was able to clean them up and take their money. I fight the great enemy nearby, which is a Royal Revenant. Luckily, I still had my starting seal with heal on it, so it was a wash. I just ended up taking more physical damage. I had Banished Knights at the castle, so I decided to just go there and farm some runes before the final circle closes. And I see that I get Beastmen of Farm Missoula, meaning my Night 2 boss was Ancient Dragon. Ancient Dragon isn't particularly hard, but he is quite tanky and likes to move around a lot, especially around the edge of the circle, so half of his body's in the storm and the other half is trying to swat at you. After a long battle, I grab increased maximum FP from him and head inside the goop. I grab my Wending, a Crimson Royal Tear, and one singular Starlight Shard, and I head inside. Second to last is my second favorite, Recluse. For solo, I play Recluse and Revenant pretty similarly, where I try to keep a melee weapon as my primary and make their spells as sort of secondary option. I usually like to play to their strengths during days 1 and 2 where I'll use magic and stuff, but I'm generally more comfortable playing melee weapons versus Healster. Speaking of, this map has no Holy on the board, so I already feel quite screwed. I whack a golem in the cathedral for a Stormsword key, and a staff that had Glint Blade Phalanx, which is pretty nice. The first circle starts to close, which I use the time to grab an extra flask charge. I fight an Abductor Virgin in a fort and grab the Stormsword keys. Then I head to a rise and get a staff with magma shot on it, which is pretty nice. I open my first jail and it's goddamn beastly brigade, so this is pretty annoying. Somehow I live and take their money, and I head to a madness camp. I grab increased sorceries and incantation potencies. As the final circle closes for night 1, I grab a flask charge that was about to be consumed by the storm, and I see 2 omens for my night 1 ads, which meant I was getting Nightcap Duo, which kinda sucks as a super squishy character like Recluse. I have a terrible time and even worse perks at the end, which are all FP related, but it kinda doesn't matter in the long run with Recluse since she has infinite FP regeneration through her magic cocktails. I whack Ancestor Spirit since I don't want to deal with Loretta, the Royal Carrion Knight. Unfortunately, I find a lightning melee weapon, but unfortunately it's a damn whip. So fuck me, I guess I'll pick it up anyway. I open a nearby jail and it's damn Crystallians, and I lack any good strike damage or shields to 2 hands, so I tickle them and run out to look for a better weapon. I beat up a Magma Worm in the meantime and pick up a Meteorite Staff. I say fuck it, I grab the staff of the Avatar from the Merchant Village, and then I return to smash the Crystallians for their money. Then I open another jail and find a Crucible Knight, and I personally don't enjoy fighting Crucible Knights, so it was a little annoying. I take Violent Deluge of Star Rain instead of money to help aid my FP regeneration. I make my way to a great enemy near the final circle, and luckily there was a dead body which had pretty strong stuff, but unfortunately I was not able to clear out the great enemy in time with the circle closing, which is a Black Knife Assassin who kept dodging my shit, so that was pretty unlucky. I got Falling Star Beast as my Night 2 boss, which is also pretty annoying. Then I get Periodical Giant Glint Blades again, so GG's, close game, GG's. I pick up a Wendy Grace, level up once, take a Crimson World tier. Unfortunately, I am only level 11, but it's fine since I've done Healster as a level 9 Recluse before, so it was definitely doable, just a little slower than the other characters. I'm out for phase 3. Yeah, I'm doing scared to switch to sorceries. this. Do this. Wow. I couldn't even get it off. That was crazy. That's funny. Shit. It was an idea. Fucking those up so bad. Wait, I wanna sit on him. Shit! Let me sit on him. Fuck! Whatever, he's dead. That's funny. No, I want to sit on him. Come on. Whatever, dude. Lastly is Executor, and was the only one that took me 2 tries instead of 1 try, so I'll just be showing the second try here. I just wanted to be sit above versus Heelster, but it didn't work out. I do think Executor is generally on the weaker side of the other Nightfarers, as his heal sort of demands a slower playstyle, and his ultimate isn't great aside from being another like full heal. I see my landing spot is an incantation camp, so I decide to swerve and opt out of fighting there. I instead rush a nearby holy camp. I grab the health restoration improvements as I don't really see a need for a holy weapon. The other passives would be nice as I plan on, once again, mostly pairing Heelster. I grab his mating 2 to make my triple status katana do trick. I clean up some lightning runes and a holy cathedral for the stone sword key. Then I take some max stamina increase from some frost runes. I have to deal with Godric as my night 1 boss, and I grab holy ground because I don't really need FP stuff. I slap the nearby great enemy of the Erdtree avatar and grab the dragon scale blade as a better offhand katana. Then I check the lower level of the castle and it's Red Wolf. You can see me dash in and out, which can be pretty annoying because he can zone you out then rush you and he keeps jumping around so you break a neck looking at him. But he wasn't too bad with my purple triple status katana. I pick up the coated sword since it also had a holy attack up passive, which I believe also helps with Executor's Curse Blade L2 when it's charged. I saw that this was in fact Troll Castle again, so it was already scuffed. I checked on top of the castle and there was also the Tree Spirit, so that was pretty nice and easy to do. As if telling me not to parry Heelster, the Tree Spirit drops Cypher Pada, and at the same time I get cursed by Libra. Luckily I just finished a Tree Spirit boss, so I had more than enough runes to pay him off. He got bombed by some trolls and I get a fingerprint shield from him before fucking off. I defeat Demi-Human Queen since she's pretty easy as well, and I gain more stamina. I slap around Royal Revenant and get a raise to my resistances. I do an Everjail and get Beastmen of Fair Missoula, so I just take their money. I smack a Magma Worm as the Night 2 final circle closes. I reach the circle and I see Black Flame Monks, which means my Night 2 boss is Godskin Duo. I manage to beat them and gain increased physical damage negation. I grab my safety wending, a level, a warming stone, and a pickled turtleneck and head on for the final fight. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It'll really help me out. Consider subscribing. It's free. It just takes a click or two or something, and it'll tell me that this video did well. If you want to see more Elden Ring content, please comment below, because this is my first like Elden Ring Nightreign video. Yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this stuff. Otherwise, I might just go back to Final Fantasy, where it's all miserable and boring and there's nothing going on. With that out of the way, thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys later.